Welcome back to Youth Elect TT. Now, if you're just joining us, our candidates have been presenting their platforms to you, the public, with the hopes that you vote for them. Let's take you to meet our next candidate. His name, Mr. Joey Harinanan.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness the most anticipated speech in Youth Elect TT history. Introducing this young man, he is all the way from Tortuga. He weighs 130 pounds. He's interesting, intriguing, and a man of faith. He's a man nurtured by the people, for the people. Ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching at home, let's get ready for Joey Harinanan.
It was reported that some 17,000 students entered secondary schools annually, but only approximately 13,000 make it to Form 5. Ladies and gentlemen, statistics are showing us that over 10,000 students every year are unable to secure a basic secondary school certificate. That means 1 in every 2 youth may not attain a basic secondary school education right here in sweet, sweet Trinidad and Tobago, where education is free. Do you think our education system is successful? Travis Hershey, a well-respected sociologist, explained in his social control theory that if an individual feels as though they don't belong to a group, they are more likely to be deviant. You know, it's like this. Imagine you go to an event and everyone is well dressed in a nice black suit and you show up looking like Nicki Minaj or Mickey Mouse in a hot pink dress with gold and purple. So it is in our school system. A greater amount of the young people are failing to identify themselves within the education system. One report that included distinguished contributors such as Professor Selwyn Ryan, Dr. Indira Rampersad, and others, highlighted that whilst education should be inclusive to support the needs of every pupil, they alerted that in Trinidad and Tobago, the policy of inclusion in schools is vague. Could it be that the reformation of education system has no political value, but instead only practical and progressive value? Could it be that these recommendations are viewed as baseless, frivolous, vacuous, absurd, and without merit? Could it be that the youth of Trinidad and Tobago are being totally ignored? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you, I can't give you houses or land or cars. Silver and gold have I none, but such as I have I will give. Until I give you a voice, an informed voice that will be heard by all stakeholders, as I vie to be your first youth prime minister of Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you.
Thank you very much to the audience. Mr. Harinanan, how do you feel?
Hungry, but good.
Hungry but good. Let's hear how the judges feel about your presentation. Golda, let's start with you.
Again, looking at all of the candidates as though they're on political platforms, you so far have most embodied a politician standing behind that platform, if you ask me, in terms of your demeanor, the way that you came up onto the stage. Of course, you had that very interesting and unique introduction that lent itself to, you know, you had our attention from the very beginning. And I think that you did your research, you used current affairs, and also you used the literature to support your argument. And not only did you do that, but you also made sure to break it down with the example of Nicki Minaj, because you are talking to the young people of Trinidad and Tobago who, and you don't want to go over their heads with all of the examples and all of your citations.
I find myself agreeing with Golda on the question of the quality of the research that was demonstrated. You referenced an academic paper, which is actually the first person to put that kind of sort of substantial reference into your statement. You demonstrated a certain amount of irony. You questioned the reliability of some of the statements that are made in public about the quality of our education. You cast some doubts over it. You referenced recent political events by quoting word for word some statements which were made in another place recently, which was effective, but I felt that you had left us a little bit short.
To remind you that these candidates need your vote. To vote, hashtag Youth Elect TT Joey Harinanan.
That a very, very winning performance. The judges were well impressed, and you know, it's just we had that little issue of time. I thought I ran out of time, but apparently I had some more time left. But however, I'll be coming back here next time to give a greater performance and an even greater winning performance.
Here on Youth Elect TT, it is about giving the youth a voice, sensitizing us to the issues that affect the youth here in Trinidad and Tobago. It's that time where I introduce you to our next candidate. Her name is Runa Danpat.
It is my privilege to introduce to you a young woman that has a passion for youth mentoring, a passion for aiding in youth development from an early age, one that is not afraid to stand up and stand out for youths like herself. A young woman who has a vision for all youth coming together to break the barriers of inequality, injustice, neglect, and segregation. I give to you a young woman, an educator, a youth with a vision to empower all youth from foundation to future. Please welcome to the platform, Ms. Runa Danpat.
Today, I'm not going to bore you with policies and promises, but instead I'm going to talk to you about a very serious issue which is plaguing the youth of this country. It is from my experiences that I am aware that a lot of the youth have concerns about neglect, youth violence, crime, inequalities in society, but most of all, the trials and the tribulations we go through to attain a relevant career. They say you need experience to get a job, but in reality, don't you need a job to get experience? Don't we need opportunities to gain experience? We always hear the quote, "The youth are the future." But the future does not depend on the youth. It depends on what our leaders implement for us now. In the day of Trinidad and Tobago, it's all about who you know and how well you know them. Is that fair to us? Why has society made it in such a way that it's now all about a link to get a job? The problem and solution begins with our education system. We need proper planning and evaluation of educational programs to reflect the necessity of relevant jobs in corporate world, and it does not stop here. Our youth are the lamps of Trinidad and Tobago, and unless we are given that spark to light, how can we burn with ambition? How can we burn with goals and dreams? How can we burn with the aspirations of a better Trinidad and Tobago? I say to you today, it is time we, the youth of the nation, spark our own fires of success. Let us not depend any longer on our leaders and politicians. And my friends, if you cannot spark that fire from within, I, as your youth prime minister, will help you to spark that fire, because there's nothing more gratifying than success that comes from within. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Runa. Let me just say, perfectly well timed. Well done. We get the feedback from the judges. Mr. Habib, at this point, we'll start with you.
Okay. Runa, I thought you were very effective in getting your point across. I question your link, and I question this link whenever it is made between opportunity and criminality, because not everybody who does not have opportunity decides on a life of criminality. Those are choices that people make, and I always dispute when people create a link as if it's cast in stone, that if you come from a slightly disadvantaged background, you necessarily must of necessity go into a life of crime. So I would question some of the substance of what you have said, but overall your use of language I thought was very effective. You use your body language well as well.
No, I think your topic was well chosen, because I think that if I had to stand and speak in front of a group of young people and seek their endorsement as a candidate for any reason, I would have spoken on that same topic, because of the fact that, you know, a lot of people go to school and we have the GATE program, we have all of these different programs, but then at the end of the day, can we find jobs? So it's a topic that really hits home for a lot of young people. So well chosen there. I thought your delivery was also very good. The only note that I made where I thought you could improve was, you know, in delivering your speech, you seem to lose touch with the audience.
To vote for this candidate, we remind you the hashtag is YouthElectTT Runa Danpath.
George's comment, I did take it to heart. I thought of it as positive criticism to develop myself and my speeches. I appreciate what they had to say today, and I did understand very clearly the issue about, you know, always relating poverty to crime, etc. And I will try to develop on those points at my next, or when I am elected again to represent the youth of Trinidad and Tobago.
Up next, after the break, we meet our final candidate here on Youth Elect TT. Stay with us.